No. Okay. All right. So we'll go to the confirmation of the minutes of the previous meeting on July 10th. Yes, something moved to that true and correct record, please. Councillor Nixon, seconded Councillor Berrigan. Let's have a quick look at those. The policy review. So all those in favour of that, those minutes, thank you. Business arising out of the minutes?
No further business arising, Madam Chair. That policy will be effective now. There'll be some communication on that.
Okay, good. So we'll go to review of the outstanding meeting actions. Roll there. Page. I might just Jason's here, please.
Okay, that first item, Madam Chair, we have made some contact with the Central Queensland University folk. What I've been trying to do is get a report on the current status of what Smart City actions have been going on across the organisation. I know that the General Manager of Communities has been involved in some of those activities, and I'll take feedback provided by Councillor Bell at the last General meeting regarding the conference in Canterbury and Smart Cities. I've taken some opportunity to try and review those papers, have a look at that summary, and then try and organise to have a presentation at the next committee meeting, both understanding our own position where we sit and talking about what the opportunities are to collaborate with Central Queensland University. So hopefully we'll be able to organise that for the September meeting, Chair. The second matter on the list there that you've raised regarding letters of support. There are some handover notes from the previous manager government, so I'll go through those and finalise that.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. And the upcoming agenda items.
They're relatively straightforward, Madam Chair. Standing items coming forward there, and as new reports come forward, we'll add them to that register as we sit here and develop that policy review agenda to make sure there's a constant stream of policies coming into this committee for review.
Okay. Any other comments, obviously? No petitions?
No petitions, Madam Chair.
Any material personal interest, conflict of interest, personal gifts and benefits? Should we get some data there on leadership donors? Okay. On to our corporate services and information services program of work.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Councillors, this report serves as a way of keeping you updated on a number of projects related to the implementation of technology and information services improvements across the organisation. The report's quite concise in terms of it outlines each of the projects that are ongoing that relate to the strategic plan that was put in place last year. You can see that there are currently 26 live projects across the organisation. There is certainly one project which we'll talk about in detail through the later agenda item, Madam Chair, on the Technology One implementation. It's about, through this report, providing a greater level of transparency in what's being done across those programs of work. I probably would highlight that even with 26 projects in the last page of that attachment, you'll see performance dashboard about where those particular reports are at. There is a lot of moving parts, for want of a better term, across those projects at the moment. I know on page 21 of the agenda, you'll see the integration of the Central Highlands Development Corporation IT services in the council on row 17 there on project number 17. There have been some delays there, but we're looking at how we can phase that work in by replacing all of the hardware into
Chair, just one question about that property rating water billing thing. Is that going to have any influence on when our rate notices come out?
Through you, Madam Chair, not for this financial year, Councillor Nixon will continue to use our current software, so we'll work through that and maintain the deadlines.
So when will they,
through the budget process.
when can we expect our rate notices?
I know that there's been work done about testing those runs already. In the next couple of weeks, we'll be scheduling that run. So either late August or early September, those rates will be run and posted. There will be that separation between the general rates and the water billing notices for this financial year, which is different. But I know that there's work being done on testing already around running the levy for the financial year.
It's just that some of the councils have moved their rates out, so just wondered where we were standing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Comments, questions?
Just a similar question, but it's relating back to the page 19, the new project regarding major disruptions, but I think you covered that further, so.
Certainly on that, Councillor Brindlecombe, we continue to do the testing around the cyber security aspects. You will have seen some of those reports go to the audit committee of council. There was testing done last month, in the month of July, which achieved relatively good results. So we'll continue to spot and take those cyber tests over the coming months between now and Christmas.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Alison.
So that report's just an overview.
So can we have somebody move that Central Highlands Regional Council know the reporting? Oh, do we need to move that? Yeah. Okay. Reporting regime introduced and improved communication and management. The Information Services Program work. Thanks, Councillor Brindlecombe, second Councillor Nixon. Those in favour, thank you. So go on to departmental updates.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A couple of points to note there, councillors. The first one is just by way of update on council certified agreement. So you will have seen previous advice to say that the agreement passed through the Commission on Friday the 13th of July. As luck would have it, that positioned us appropriately to be able to enact that agreement from the first pay of the financial year, which is the effective date for the agreement. So the last payment made to all staff was made under the new wage terms and conditions of the current certified agreement. The Joint Consultative Committee, which is the mechanism that we use to monitor the effectiveness of that agreement as it has been negotiated, is scheduled to meet in early September, and we will put in place a regime to allow appropriate reporting back of some of the key targets that were set through that certified agreement, but also the mechanisms that were identified to keep, I suppose, keep an eye on some of the more important aspects of the agreement as we move forward. So that's an important milestone for the organisation, and it's a good reflection on our ability to progress with the works that Council set through the upcoming budget and operational plan. Any questions on that one, councillor?
I just good to see that it has happened. Everything's agreed.
Just through you, Madam Chair, we have been fielding phone calls from other local governments throughout Queensland seeking to identify some of the recipes for success that we might have utilised, so we'll try and share our learnings with other local governments as best we can. The second update there, councillors, is just about the PKF confidential disclosure hotline service that we've been running. You'll see there that we have received 24 disclosures, 16 have been investigated and closed out, and some of those remaining 8 were finalised by Carl before he left the organisation, and I'll work with Chris to finalise the rest of those. There hasn't been one for a couple of weeks that I've identified in recent times. They seem to come in sort of little spurts of 2 or 3 at a time, and then we have a break for a little while, then more come along. So we'll continue to report back and provide some learnings back into the organisation on the basis of those issues being reported, so that there's a closure of the loop coming forward. All of those 24 disclosures have really come from inside the organisation, not from external parties at this point in time.
Jason, do we know whether this service is 24 a reasonable amount? What's the...
I suppose we had real expectations, Madam Chair, when we set it up. The fact that we are getting disclosures, people have confidence in the system that we put in place. We've seen resolution, you know, of all but a few outstanding ones, and to date, most of them have been issues that we've been able to manage. There's probably only been 1 or 2 higher audit aspects that we have needed to deal with. You will remember that this service was put in place as a result of a previous internal audit on fraud and corruption through the organisation. It's been seen as quite a positive response in our communications back with both the Ombudsman and the CCC, and I think the fact that we're getting activity through the service is testament to the fact that it is effective and people see value in improving the accountability and transparency across the organisation. So we'll continue to periodically report back on that activity and also share the case studies tools that go into the organisation with the council as well.
Very good.
Just with that, Jason, just to get it in our mind, go through PKF, which is separate from council. So if they can resolve an issue, they can, or does it go then to the governance officer?
Okay, so through you, Madam Chair, the process is that when the disclosure is lodged initially, there's a preliminary assessment done, so it's a templated form that we put together that allows us to identify the substance of what's being reported. If it's validated in that first instance, then it goes on to proceed to an investigation. Some of those are done internally through the governance manager. Some of them are actually outsourced back to PKF, where there seems to be significant other work required. So there has been a mix of both external investigation and internal investigation over the course of this line running. Other matters where they've been directly related to staff and management issues, they've also been referred back into management of the organisation to address the concerns that have come forward as well. So it is a mixture of both inside and outside investigation that's been utilised to date, depending on what's being reported. But a number of the issues, Councillor Grimble, have really just been management action or lack of management action. So they haven't necessarily been disclosures as such, in the pure sense of what we're trying to achieve around unearthing behaviour that's either inappropriate or unethical.
Excellent. So those 2 reports, somebody please move that we receive the Corporate Services Department update report. Yes. Councillor Bell, thank you. Those in favour? Those, thank you very much. Now, Jason, we will move to before general business. We'll move to the late agenda item, which is Turn On Technology 1, which is on page 24.
That's sort of attached to the later.
Sort of attached at the end.
Councillors, apologies for the lateness of this report, but I'll take it as read, but I'll go on to talk about some of the key influences. Over the course of the last 6 weeks or so, there have been a number of changes in the project that have really drawn us to think about whether or not we are prepared to go live at the first scheduled date in October 2018. There's been a number of pieces of feedback coming back from particularly the Modular Champion staff, employees that are engaged significantly in the implementation of this project, which is putting in new systems over the top of their current working, I suppose, ways and environment. The product itself has taken additional testing and training for staff to go through, and I suppose it's leading us to the point where, rather than rush to achieve the October deadline, it was considered a more appropriate action to actually step back and evaluate some of those areas where we are falling behind and look for opportunities to pick up that time, but also to improve the way in which we do business. There have been a number of influences, and the report does touch on that, one of which also relates to, for want of a better term, the version of the software that we've been working and testing on. So the product sees 2 releases of updates each year, and we have been doing a lot of our work through what is called the 2018 A release of the software, and the company has recently just released the 2018 B, which has a number of enhancements and improvements to what exists in our current functionality and the way the software works. So in talking of Technology One, it's deemed appropriate for us to take on that latest release, which will solve some of the impediments we've had in some of our work processes, but also give us an opportunity just to go back and retest aspects that we'd already seen as requiring some modification or change to the way in which we do our business to accommodate. As we had sessions last week with both what we call change champions, so the supervisory levels of the organisation, and the modular champion folk, I've taken really on board the concerns of the staff involved, and with what was 8 weeks left to set to go live, taking the opportunity to basically release some pressure through the organisation by holding that date back for now and looking for a new go live date when we're in a position that we have a lot higher level of confidence in our ability to run the software and not make any changes into the way in which we deliver services to the community. There are 2 key aspects, I suppose, that are holding some concern for me at the moment. I've shared these with the Chair, Councillor Rolfe, who sits on our steering group. One is around payroll, and last week we were able to do some parallel testing of the payroll, so that's given us a high level of confidence. And the other one has been around the generation of our rates and charges and some of those mechanisms we use to cap rates and charges at the moment that we need to look at in more detail in the software. So they're 2 key pieces which we need to do some more work and testing on in terms of understanding the impact on the organisation. For the last couple of weeks, I've been continuously meeting with staff from Technology One to address some of those issues, and we have a scheduled meeting for late this week and late next week to pull forward a discussion on what that new go live date might look like, given our ability to go back and retest on the latest version of the software as well. We've taken some time over the last fortnight to go through a lot of the level of detail of the project to see where we sit, and that's been a good reckoner for us in identifying some of those key areas where we need to put more work and investment, both from council and staff and Technology One, in getting to a point where the level of confidence in the product is 100% that we can move forward with. Happy to take questions on that, Madam Chair.
So Justin, when you say they bring out new updates twice a year, what happens when, we come to the end of this year again and we've got another update looming at the beginning of next year?
Yeah, good question, Madam Chair. We've taken the view in the work that we've done now that this will be the final move we take in relation to those versions. We've already moved from what was 217B to 218A in the first tranche of the project. We were able to cover that. Now there's been what you would say a significant number of changes between the A release and the B release this year. It's a bit more of a step, so that's why we've taken the opportunity to take the step as an advancement in the product, acknowledging that we need to meet the deadline and finalise the testing across all of the product over the next few months.
It's a cost, and it's something that I think, does technology one, does the company sort of admit to the ongoing cost or the cost in prolonging this?
Yeah, so to answer that, Madam Chair, we've got those discussions, as I said, over the next couple of weeks to talk about what the impact of the delays might be. There have been a number of changes to the schedule of the implementation. Of easiest example is the work that we were scheduled to do in the middle of June won't be done until next week. So that's been a delay of 6 weeks effectively being able to test after training on those modules has occurred. So there is a shared responsibility between Council and Technology One on some of those changes, but we certainly will be using our best endeavours to negotiate any limited financial impact upon us as a result of those delays, given that we're very keen to continue to push forward as the first site, certainly in Queensland, to use this fully integrated solution, and to showcase that, I suppose, is one of the key aspects of our learnings in taking what is essentially an out-of-the-box solution and applying it to a medium-sized local government.
Yeah. And certainly, payroll is one of the most important, if not the most important, of council. So, so their obligations to their employees is.
The testing last week's given us a greater degree of confidence than we've had previously, and I know Manager of Human Resources is in the back of the room and spent a lot of time last week herself in there with staff. And, we have seen it run on a sample set of pays. It does generate a pay. It's more just getting some level of confidence in some of the other aspects.
Yeah. Any questions, comments?
So just through you, Chair. Jason, but delayed beyond October.
Yep.
Yeah. So do we have a date or time?
I don't have a formal date yet, Councillor Bell. We've certainly drafted a couple of different schedules to discuss with Technology One, based on our ability to see some of those big changes that certainly we want to see, particularly around the rating aspects. Just to identify that, I suppose what we've seen is every council does their rates and charges differently, but there's some fundamental aspects that we need to make sure it will handle that meet the way that we do business. So it's probably the key piece at this point in time. It may well be into 2019. I just don't have a forecast what that date looks like until we've had an opportunity to sit down and revise the schedule and talk about our ability to test and train through the newest version.
So these are patches or something they've got to make, or
no, it's probably more than that. So the release from where we are at the moment to the release that they're proposing, there's a significant number of changes in there. So from our homework that we've done, 30 to 40% of the things have changed. So that's a pretty big impact. But more importantly, some of the way that the product works in the background has been enhanced, and that will only improve its ability for us to use it more effectively right across our organisation. And that's one of the key aspects that we're looking to leverage.
And just one other thing on just on the implementation of Tech One. Are there going to be any cost efficiencies or efficiencies gained out of this, and are they measurable?
Yes, there are a number of efficiencies that we will generate. We can measure them in savings in time, predominantly in the processes that we utilise. What we might need to identify in terms of what does that cost then look like, because we have an ability to then, I suppose, do more work in the reporting aspects that we have than we have done before. So the savings that we seek to generate, we will only then reinvest in making the product better and our ability to report information better. So whether or not there will be real savings on the bottom line, but how much they quantify against our ability to then want to improve the way we do business is probably yet to be really quantified, Councillor Bell. But there's certainly ways to measure the savings, and there's a range of things that we don't do now that we will do as a result of being able to get better information and report faster. So the time savings certainly aren't quantifiable. What I have done is committed to bring back a report at the end of the project to validate what those savings look like, and the closer we get to a full understanding of the implementation, the cleaner it will be for me to bring that report forward.
It's certainly from the beginning when we started on the committee, you see at the beginning when the employees started to take ownership of it, and I see that was quite a saving there, because everybody was really keen about doing it, and the changeover. And I think that unfortunately, this couple of months now are going to be a bit of a slowdown. But if we can keep the
momentum.
So
there'll probably be mixed feelings, Madam Chair, back through the workforce. As you've alluded to, there are a bunch of people that are really excited and waiting for it to go live. The people that are in the trenches doing the work are a bit apprehensive and a little bit anxious because they can see the deadline and they know how much work needs to be done. So we've eased the pressure on those people, but on the other side of that, the ones that are waiting for it have to wait a little bit longer. And a lot of consideration is given to formulating this decision to make the deferral. A lot on the basis that right from the start of the project, when I engaged with the organisation, I said we wouldn't go live if we weren't ready to go live. We've seen many experiences across government that have played out much more openly than that, where software was started when it wasn't quite ready to be started. And I suppose in the organisational perspective, we've decided to put the people in front of the technology and listen to the staff that have been involved. The technology might not quite be ready, but the people aren't quite ready either. So part of it's responding to the organisation's ability to make sure that we're doing a good job in what we do with this implementation.
So, the recommendation: receive the report and note the go live date for one council corporate software solution has been delayed beyond October 18. Somebody move that, please. Councillor Brimcombe, second Councillor Nixon. Those in favour? Thank you. So, Jason, we'll do general business before any general business.
A couple of items. One is just that we were looking at doing some work in regards to maternity leave and maternity payments, etc., for councillors. There has been some work done by previous government's manager, Cale Benjamin. There was 2 emails I've received from him, I think, and others have as well. And I'd just like to see if we could just formalise that very quickly, and I'm just not sure how we can do it. But one is in regards to, I suppose, a period of time that a councillor may require because of the birth, and then it's also just something that whether people should be able to retain council apparatus, all that's gone out. And it also then, I think as a progressive council, we should certainly look at the aspect of, including some new arrangements in regards to council's remuneration. And that includes, some offsets in regards to childminding, childcare, and other things. Now, I think half the council, Carl Daniel's done a really good job on the work that's been in place, and I think that and some of the recommendations. So I was just wondering how we now progress that further, and to get a recommendation back to us no later than September meeting, I suppose.
So, through you, Madam Chair, Councillor Bell, I wanted to bring it forward to a council workshop. So bring the work that Carl's done forward so that we can have some more consideration around the council table. I'm happy to do that for the first strategy meeting in September, and then take feedback from that back into a policy position change for the September general meeting of council, if that's acceptable.
Thanks. I think that's I think it's progressed pretty nicely. I've looked around local government land in every state around the place at the moment, but there's not too much there for us to cherry pick or to. But I think we're sort of leading the pack a little bit. But I think it's something we should be doing and moving that forward. Now is I think would show that we are a progressive council that is certainly allowing, I think, everybody to all of our community to be able to be a council and to be well supported in that role, and that people wouldn't feel that there are exclusions, because of age or other things. So that was one. If we get that to the next strategy meeting, that'd be good. The next one was in regards to we had some conversation yesterday about draft policy, and I was just it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I had to talk to one of the community who we talked a little bit about what they thought the weather was going to do, and that person was trying to convince me that we were looking at another sort of 8-9 scenario where we could end up with massive rains at Christmas. I did talk to our disaster management team, who said no, that's a totally different aspect than the readings. Had a look at our drought policy at that time, and sort of a little bit confused about, I suppose, which way what happened, as I had 2 conversations, chalk and cheese. But there are some stuff in those areas in that drought management policy which probably need to be a little bit revisited.
Okay.
Some of those populations based, some things have changed since when we did that policy back in 2008. There's been a downturn change in the industry. There's been a few other things in coal industry particularly. So, I'm just wondering whether or not we could recommend back to council that we just do a little review update next week pretty quickly, and then start to make sure that the councillors have an opportunity to talk about that at maybe another strategy meeting very shortly about what are the options. It's a good policy in that it covers all of the aspects of all of our communities, which have in some cases fed from different streams or from bores or from other opportunities. But it's a policy I think we need to just revisit at the moment. We're not that far really off 15%, which is our first, which I think under our agreements with the supply of water with government is the area where we'd be putting our first level 1 restrictions on. And I think if we are expecting governments and others to look favourably and support us during times like drought, as other people are, we need to make sure that we have taken as much preventative steps as possible, and that's in regards to conservation of water in places where that needs to happen. And the only way you can do that is really through a good sound policy, which restricts communities' use of water, and that includes backyard pools, XYZ, it's all in policy. So that's one option. The other thing that's really important, I think, is to start to get the criticality of of where we are at the moment out to the community. There's probably a hard, I think for some people it'll be a hard lesson to understand the difference between water conservation and drought management. and say the same thing, you're a level 1 this and you're level 1 2, whatever, and people like Capella and others unfortunately go through this a bit more often than others. But you know, for the general population, say of Blackwater and Emerald, you know, it's a little bit harder to understand. And a drought, you know, drought declaration level 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4 are certainly things that, you know, have fairly strong parameters which people will be asked to work. So I think it's probably worthwhile us looking at that. Needs to be some sort of communication strategy developed as that as well. So if either chalk or cheese recommendations is it happens that in regards to the punters pick on weather, if the drier times come and we do end up with a really dry January, February, and you know, continuation into March, we could be looking at some getting back into that level 1 very, very quickly. It's not that far away. So if we could just have a look at that at the governance meeting next time around as well.
Certainly since that drought management paper was written in 2008, I think it was, wasn't it? Certainly since then there's been a lot of technology update, that there's a lot more information readily available than, you know, in 2008. I think we were still looking at the percentile booklet that came out. It was about that thick, and you know, for each aspect. But so I'd imagine that the information is probably readily available for, you know, for what's to come to update that report for sure.
It shouldn't take much.
No.
You know, it shouldn't be a big amount of money. So.
Yeah. It'd be good to be ahead of the game for a change.
So just my last bit is, the last one is, it's in regards to a report. I'd like to see a request from our from council, from our staff. It's in regards to the last financial year's total expenditure in regards to consultants and advisory agents or groups. I'd just like to see if we could have something brought to this committee in and around October. Understanding, I'm not too sure where you are with the financial statements, Jason, but I'd imagine that you're going to be pretty busy through August to September. But if just for this meeting in October, we could see just what council spend is in that area. I have some concerns, and I've heard some concerns around the table about, consultancies that are undertaken on our behalf, but where they go and what they for. So I'd just like to see a report that would consultants use, what was the outcome, who authorised, or who authorised those consultancies. But just a full list of last year and just the dollar numbers on that as well. But as I said, it's sometimes it's something that is raised here, and I suppose we should just borrow a bit deeper to see where all that lead is and what the dollars are and what it looks like.
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair, I might respond to that one first. We have already undertaken a piece of work that Councillor Bell. I'm happy to bring it forward to the October meeting. We've been looking for the last, say 4 to 6 months about what we call total effort for the organisation. So if we are using external assistance through contractors or consultants, what that then equates to in terms of the total FTE draw for the organisation, because we know our FTEF is around 500 of us working for the organisation, and we've been looking at all of those external advisories as to what then that contributes in terms of additional equivalent FTE, so that we can see how much effort is going in across the organisation. So October would be timely. This month we will be finalising the year-end accounts, so we'll have the figures as at June 18, and then look at some comparatives for the previous years as well, so you can see if there's any trend data available there. So yeah, we are working on it. I'm happy to report to the October.
That's all.
Any other general business? No. We shall. Somebody move that we go into closed session for this. Close
Yes.